What if death is just the beginning of your most intense journey yet? Over 600 years ago, hidden in the mystical mountains of Tibet, an ancient text emerged, known today as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. This is an actual spiritual manual that vividly describes every single detail of what happens after your last breath. From facing blinding visions and confronting terrifying inner demons to choosing your next rebirth based on the karma you've accumulated, this mysterious guide takes you step by step through each mind-bending stage of dying. By the end of this video, you'll uncover exactly what awaits you after death and why your actions right now could shape eternity. Alright, so before we cross that mind-bending bridge between life and death, we've got to talk about the man behind this guide, Padmasambhava. Now, if you're thinking he's just another guru meditating on a mountaintop, let me stop you right there. This guy was next level. Born way back in the 8th century, Padmasambhava, or Guru Rinpoche, or Precious Master if you're fancy, was a legendary figure who practically single-handedly brought Buddhism into Tibet. But Padmasambhava wasn't your everyday spiritual leader. Nope. From his earliest days, this guy had some serious mystical superpowers. We're talking Mahasiddha-level powers. Think Jedi Master, but cooler and with better robes. Padmasambhava was a Mahasiddha, meaning he wasn't just enlightened. He had spiritual superpowers known as siddhis. Imagine Doctor Strange, but Tibetan and without the cape. The locals considered his abilities miracles, and he gained a reputation fast. Now, Tibet back then wasn't exactly a spiritual cakewalk. Picture this: the local religion, Bon, was thriving, and Buddhism wasn't exactly welcomed with open arms. It was more like trying to sell ice cream in Antarctica. Tough crowd, right? Padmasambhava knew he needed to shake things up dramatically. So, how did he win hearts and minds? Well, he didn't just preach peace and love, he went full mystical superhero mode. He battled, spiritually of course, the local Bon shamans who weren't thrilled with him moving in on their turf. Using his siddhis, he won spiritual showdowns, kind of like epic rap battles, but mystical and way less rhythmic. Eventually, he founded Tibet's first ever Buddhist monastery, Samye Monastery, kicking off Buddhism's golden age in the region. This wasn't just about converting people, it was about reshaping the entire way Tibetans viewed existence itself. Padmasambhava had big plans. He didn't just want to change the religion, he wanted to change the way people thought about life, death, and everything in between. And that's exactly where the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or the Bardo Thodol, comes into the picture. Now, this isn't your typical bedtime reading. It doesn't just describe death, it breaks it down stage by mind-blowing stage. But before we dive into the wildest cosmic roller coaster you've ever seen, let's rewind and start at stage 1. Alright, picture this. You've taken your very last breath. Your body's job is done. Clocked out. Thanks for playing. But then, what happens to your consciousness? Does it just vanish into nothingness? Or does something much weirder kick in? Well, according to Padmasambhava, death isn't an end at all. It's more like hitting a spiritual reset button. Your mind enters what he calls the Chakai Bardo, the first of several transitional stages right after your heart stops beating. This isn't just lights out, it's a complete separation of your consciousness from all its physical baggage. You're free, no body to lug around anymore. No distractions, just you and a sudden clarity you've never experienced before. The moment your body lets go, your consciousness faces the most powerful radiant light you can imagine. The clear light. Think of this as the ultimate spiritual spotlight. No sunglasses allowed, folks. If you recognize this light for what it truly is, pure, boundless consciousness, congrats, you've hit the spiritual jackpot. Enlightenment. Nirvana. Game over. You've won the cosmic lottery. But here's the kicker. Most people miss their cue. Instead of recognizing that this light is literally their own enlightened mind staring back at them, they panic. And honestly, who wouldn't panic a little when confronted with infinite reality itself? So, instead of grabbing hold of the light and exiting samsara, the endless cycle of rebirths, they turn away. And that's where the trouble begins. Because now they're heading deeper into what Padmasambhava calls the second stage, the Choniad Bardo. This next stage isn't just weird, it's downright psychedelic. Padmasambhava knew the human mind better than anyone. He understood that once the body was gone, your mind would basically throw a party. and every memory, desire, fear, and hidden issue you've ever had is invited. Welcome to the Choniyid Bardo, also known as the Bardo of Visions. Without a physical body to anchor you, your mind is free to conjure some seriously wild stuff. But these aren't just regular dreams. Think super vivid, ultra HD, 4K clarity. You know those dreams that feel so real you wake up sweating? Yeah, multiply that intensity by 1,000. Here's how it goes down. Imagine glowing Buddhas, compassionate bodhisattvas, and radiant beings offering you peace, liberation, and enlightenment. Pretty good deal, right? Well, not so fast. Most people, because they're confused or scared, don't even recognize these visions as projections of their own consciousness. Instead, they either ignore them or panic because it's too good to be true. And the moment that happens, things get wild. If you miss the peaceful visions, your consciousness decides to spice things up dramatically. Say hello to the wrathful vision stage. Now the party guests become a bit less friendly. Instead of compassionate figures, you've got fierce, terrifying beams charging straight at you. Think of the scariest movie you've ever watched and multiply it by 1,000. Monsters, demons, wrathful deities with blazing eyes and sharp teeth. But here's the kicker. These wrathful deities aren't here to harm you. No, they're your fears, doubts, angers, and regrets, manifesting right in front of your eyes. They're scary because they're yours. Now let's be real. Would you be calm enough in this moment to realize you're facing yourself? Padmasambhava knew most wouldn't. People freak out, run away, and get lost even further. They don't recognize that all these visions, good or terrifying, are just mental projections, and this lack of awareness pushes them even further away from liberation. Here's a tip straight from Guru Rinpoche himself. If you learn to recognize these visions as your own creations, you're golden. They can't harm you unless you freak out and let them. But if you miss this opportunity, things get trickier, because beyond these two initial bardos lies yet another challenge, one even more intense and potentially confusing. Welcome to the Sidpa Bardo, the final and trickiest stage of your afterlife journey. If you thought the wrathful deities were intense, this phase is like being handed a menu and told you've got seconds to choose your next life. Let me explain this clearly because the stakes here are high. In the Sidpa Bardo, your soul reaches a critical fork in the road. This stage isn't just about dazzling lights or nightmarish figures. It's about something way more familiar, your own desires. Remember that embarrassing obsession you had with TikTok dances? Or your irrational fear of spiders? Yeah, those seemingly trivial attachments could literally shape your next existence. Every thought, action, or emotion you've had in your life creates this invisible energy, karma, that now comes knocking, louder than ever, demanding payment. You might be thinking, great, I just wanted a relaxing afterlife, but now I'm dealing with cosmic bills. Exactly. Your karma decides where and how you'll be reborn, pulling you into your next life based on your emotional baggage. Did you live a life drowning in jealousy or anger? You might end up reborn in a situation perfectly suited to replay those emotions until you finally learn your lesson. But if your life was filled with kindness, empathy, and joy, congratulations, you've leveled up. You've got a shot at something genuinely peaceful. But here's the thing, you don't exactly choose consciously. It's more like karma has your soul's GPS coordinates and it's driving. All your past actions, from the tiniest white lie to your most generous deed, add up, creating a kind of karmic fingerprint that defines your next destination. If you see here, you're basically entering life's ultimate roulette wheel. Spin carefully. And here's where the real drama kicks in. As your soul searches for its next body, you're hit by vivid visions of couples. Yes, that's right, scenes of people. Potential future parents start flashing before you. You gravitate towards these images instinctively, guided by powerful desires. Got unresolved issues with fear? You might unconsciously seek parents or a life situation that mirrors that fear, almost like a magnet pulling you towards a lesson you need to learn. But if you've mastered compassion and kindness, your next life might be smoother sailing. It's like choosing Netflix shows, except you don't consciously pick. Your karma picks for you, and there's no skipping the opening credits. Padmasambhava taught that this moment is pivotal. If your soul has learned to detach from fear and illusions, you can consciously resist that pull, recognizing that these tempting visions and urges are empty illusions. They're fleeting, temporary, ephemeral. If your soul remains aware and unattached, it can break free from the cycle altogether. Total liberation. But let's be honest, most of us aren't exactly spiritual ninjas. Usually we fumble this last-minute test and dive headfirst back into another round of life's drama. Why? Because the urge to exist is powerful. We all cling desperately to identity, even when we're technically floating in the afterlife. Your attachments, whether to family, money, relationships, become irresistible forces. You end up pulled back into the cycle, born again, ready or not, to face the consequences and lessons from your previous rounds. Here's a pro tip straight from the teachings of Padmasambhava himself. Practice letting go right now, while you're alive. Meditation, self-awareness, understanding that nothing, good or bad, is permanent. Because here's the twist. The more you train your mind to detach from fear, anger, jealousy, and cravings in life, the easier it gets at death. Think of it like spiritual muscle memory. The better you practice now, the smoother that Sidpa Bardo journey will go. But this isn't just a spiritual reality check. It's a wake-up call for your daily life too. The way you live right now is shaping your future, both in this life and beyond. That's the beauty and the challenge of karma. Life and death aren't separate. They're interconnected phases of the same endless cycle. Until you learn to see clearly and let go of those deep-rooted attachments, you'll keep spinning that cosmic wheel, facing the same struggles, hopes, dreams, and disappointments. So here's your takeaway. Start now. Clear your mind. Let go of attachments. Recognize your fears for what they truly are. Just temporary illusions. If you found yourself captivated by this cosmic roller coaster, smash that like button, subscribe to our channel for similar videos, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to turn on notifications. You definitely won't want to miss what we dive into next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.